Hey everyone, Rick Nelson here with Statman Football. We'd like to say thank you for being a user of our program. And one thing that we hope you've learned throughout the whole process of Statman is how hard we've tried to make this one of the best stat programs in the country. You know, Statman does a lot of things. TV broadcasters use it, radio broadcasters use it, coaches use it. It's just one of those dynamic programs that can be used for a lot of different things. One of the things we're going to focus on today is we're going to show you how we set the equipment up and how we set the program itself up so that broadcasters have a screen that's live during the entire broadcast that shoots live stats as we go. Pretty much Statman will give you stats as fast as you can type them. Broadcasters love it. One thing that I've learned in this business is that it's very important for the broadcasters to have the stats as quick as possible. They need to know who made the tackle, they need to know who run the ball, who passed and who caught the ball, and they need that all within seconds, and that's one thing that Statman does for you. So I'm going to take a few minutes here and I'm going to get everything broke out, and you're going to see I've kind of minimized the gear tonight, if you can believe it or not. I've got tons of gear, and my golden rule is never come to the stadium with not enough, because you're always going to need the one thing that you forget. So let me get this gear broke down, and then we're going to explain how we get this thing set up and get the program going. Alright, so here's one of my most favorite places to be in the world, and that's behind a broadcast team, giving them stats throughout the game. And what I want to do is I want to take you through what we have here. As you can see, this is just pretty much a typical computer setup. I've got my laptop here set up. What you see here is the audio portion, and then of course I got a second monitor set up. The key to all of this, at least for broadcasters, is everything that you enter your plays on is going to be on this screen. Everything that the broadcasters see is going to be on this screen. So I'm going to read this to you. I've got a little cheat sheet that I've used here for years, and it may help you. You set this up to where your first screen is a mobile PC display, and it depends on the type of computer you have. My particular one is a 1600 by 900 landscape. And then what I do is I extend the desktop to this display. That takes care of this portion of the laptop. Now this screen and the screens that I have down below, that's set up to a 2/3 multiple monitors. Again, 1600 by 900 landscape. And on this one I put duplicate desktop on 2 and 3. By doing that, what I've done is, most importantly, is I've matched the size of my laptop and my screens. So whatever I see up here is what they're going to see down there. That's very important. The second portion of this, and we'll kind of go over the audio part of it. I don't want to confuse you, but you know, basically I've got a headset here for the spotter. I've got a headset here for myself. And at any given time, we're able to talk to the broadcasters. All right, so let me show you the audio portion of this, which, as I said, this is going back down to the broadcasters. So many of you have probably already seen a mixing board. This is a very small mixing board. I like it that way because it allows us to go to different places, and not all the times where you have enough room to do things. We try and minimize it as much as we can. So each one of these, you've got channels. These two channels here, one's for our stats guy and one's for our spotter, and it doesn't matter which side or the other. This channel here is for the broadcasters coming back up to us. In this case, I've got this actually hooked up just to an iPod where we can actually put music on there if we want to. This channel here is the portion that goes back down to the broadcasters, or what we hear from the broadcasters. And if you know anything about the mixing boards, you know that FX send is what sends it. So as long as these are turned down, then the broadcasters are not going to hear us. So up top, while we're up here talking and spotting and doing all the stuff in the background that you never hear on the radio or see on the TV, we can do that without them hearing us. But I can tell you this, most broadcasters do not want you in their ears. So that's the whole reason that we've done so much work with Statman, is to get that information on the screen so they're not having to listen to us in their ear, and we're not having to hang over their back and point at a spotter's chart. So that's where the work is up top. It's really not a whole lot to this up here. You can see back here in the background there's a printer. You obviously got to have hard copies of everything you do. Let's take it from there and we'll take you down to the bottom. Alright guys, so now I'm going to take you down to the bottom portion where the broadcasters are at, up close to the window, close to the field, close to the stands, close to the people, where all the action happens. So what we have here is a splitter, connect directly to the wireless. And then for each VGA that comes in, we hook up like so. And the last portion of this is what communicates to your wireless back to your laptop. And as you can see, you've also got the communications ready for the broadcast mixing board, and we're ready to go down here. Alright, I gotta hurry up now. The broadcasters are in and they're fixing to put me to work. So real quick, I want to show you what we've got here. As you can see, all of the screens, I've got my screen here on the laptop, and then of course what's over here on my extra monitor is what's showing down on their screens. So I'm gonna pull this program up real quick and show you how I set the screen up. Alright, so as you can see, we've got Statman pulled up here. Got all the different game files. We're actually on game 8 tonight. So I'm gonna pull this file up, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make new windows, and those new windows is what's gonna be over here on this screen. Now some of you who've been using Statman for a long time, some of this stuff may look maybe a little bit, there may be a little bit more artwork to it, but I want to tell you I spent a lot of time making sure that this artwork and stuff, it looks good on the summary screen. Not only for the broadcasters, makes it easier for them to read, but you know what? It's also good advertising. And it sure does look clean when you've got a good summary screen up. And as you know, Statman has a couple different options on the game summary screen. I choose this one, and you know, and then there's that communication portion with the broadcasters of actually, you know, we've been working together for a lot of years now, so they know what to look for and where to look for it, and that really helps me out, and I know it hopefully helps them out. So as you can see here, what we've got is the summary screen here. I go to view, new window, and then actually what I do is I pull this entire screen over where it will cover both. Alright, so I've got the entire Excel file going across here, and all I've done is create the new window, and I pull one of those windows over here. Tell you what, in this case I'm going to flip flop. I'm going to put that window here and put this window here. Then what I do is I spend a lot of time setting the screens up to fit the actual laptop. So this is pretty close here. So as you can see, what's on this screen is what they see on their screens. And then over here on this one is where we do the play entry. So as I'm entering the plays on this sheet, the game summary stays up the entire game. The only time that I really sway off of that is usually at the end of drives, and I'll pull up the drive summary or the scoring summary. So I don't bore you anymore with all the details of getting the art and everything, the screen's right. I can tell you that this is pretty much how we set up for every game, give or take a few changes. But I want to thank you for joining us today. I wish you the best in your football season, and I hope Statman continues to help you out. Thank you.
Total yards, 289 yards for Ennis to just 34 total yards of offense for Forney. 155 came through the air for Ennis, 25 through the air for Forney. Ennis ran the ball 17 times for 134. So that 155 air, that's pretty balanced offense there, Timo.
Yes, sir.
All right, 19 carries for, I believe that's 9 positive yards. It could be -9, but I think it's 9 positive yards of rushing for Forney. Ennis has no turnovers. Forney has fumbled twice and lost 1. Ennis has 2 sacks for a -13 yards. Forney has none. Tackles for loss, Ennis has 1 for a -4. Forney has 0. Penalties, man, what a clean ball game. Just two flags on Ennis for 25 yards, and Forney has yet to be penalized. Third down conversions, Ennis is 100%, just 3 for 3 though for all of the short field.